Welcome to Kind of Future International. We are a corporation dealing with how to finish up the problems of drugs and how they are affecting the society. Today, we happen to have our visitor, who is Mr. Jeffrey, who we are going to interview today, and he's going to tell us more about this problem he has endured. So welcome, Mr. Jeffrey.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a bit about who you are before drugs became part of your life?
Before drugs became part of my life, well, as it's clarified, my name is Jeffrey Ochieng. I'm a Christian. I love God with all my heart. I'm an entrepreneur. I love business. I love every form of it. I love books. I love reading. I love interacting with people. I'm a very social person. Before drugs came into my life, I was a very active person. I enjoyed playing. I enjoyed hanging out. I was an all-rounded person, let's say that.
That's great. How did you first get introduced to drugs, and what made you try them?
Well, I was first introduced to drugs by a friend in Form 2. I remember we were from school and he was like, "Hey, Jeff, see, let's go here and test something new, something fresh." At that time, it sounded like an experience that I really wanted to go through. So we went. We told a certain guy who was a cobbler, and he took our money and went and bought it for us. And I can tell you for a fact, my friends, when I took it, oh my God, it felt as if the world stopped. Everything was just funny. And when I started eating, nilikuwa nakula kafundi. But it was an interesting experience.
Quite interesting indeed. Was there something you were trying to escape or feel when you started using drugs?
Well, when I started using drugs, at that time I didn't have anything that I was trying to escape per se. I was just doing it for the sake of enjoyment, and I kind of did like it. But then after Form 4, it reached a point where life was hitting a bit. I was like in a different phase of my life. So like the experiences felt different. So after Form 4, the drugs were not more for enjoyment, but more of a coping mechanism for me. Yeah.
So how did your parents go about it when you realized that you were involved in such kind of activities?
They never knew I was taking them, by the way. They never knew. I was really trying to hide it, but something told me they kind of figured it out, but unajua zikishika, you tend to think you're clever.
Obviously, you're always clever than the others.
Yes.
Thank you. What was life during the height of your addiction?
Wow. Hey, my height of my addiction, it was wow. I will not lie. Every experience was interesting. Every path felt new. Everything was just fun at that time. Every movie I watched was funny. Every food I tasted as if I tried something new. The height of my highness was actually wow. Like, to be honest, I tend to say no regrets, but up here, at least it gave me something to reminisce about.
And where was your source of income to buy all this?
Let me tell you for a fact, a drug addict will never lack money to go buy drugs. Hautaikosa pesa ya kwenda kushika hizo vitu. Rosafi, you might be broke, but you'll always find a way to go get it. So I mostly used my money, pocket money, and then I also worked for some time, and I was really making some good money. So whenever I used to come from work, for example, I used to go and buy like 3 and then go home and consume. But then it reached a point in my life, I was like, no, this is not the life I wanted more. Because I was focusing, it reached a point, by the way, I started thinking about my life very seriously, and I knew for a matter of fact that I had to grow and be a better version of me.
Okay, yeah. That's great. Now, can you describe one of your lowest or most painful moments during your time of when you're taking drugs?
Whoa.
You may come at a time where you reach the rock bottom, not be able to see whatever is there.
Well, yeah, there was a moment where it reached where my addiction, it became more of an addiction than an enjoyment, because it reached a point where if I didn't puff, I felt as if I had voices in my head. Yeah. So like I was really trying to silence them, yet it wasn't really the best coping mechanism for it. So I was using drug as a comfort thing, yet it shouldn't have been the case.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, how did you start recovery and what happened helped you to stay committed to it?
Wow, recovery. It wasn't the easiest. It wasn't the easiest. I'm telling you, getting high was a very interesting experience. It was a very interesting experience. I learned how to make other versions from what I had. Like I could make the what's it called, the experience last longer using just something as small as 20 bob, the 20 bob one. But it reached a point where you have to tell yourself, I'm growing older, I'll soon form a family. I need to have a certain type of something grounded for myself, you know, because I was in campus and still am in campus, and it reached a point where even my grades were starting to get affected by the consumption rate. So I told myself, I can't waste no time. I can't be pulling myself back, because you know when you smoke, I can tell you I wasn't much into the others, like alcohol and the others, but I was much into weed. So whenever I smoked, it brought out a form of laziness that I knew I was really trying to avoid it. So nimesahau swali.
Exactly. Now, because what made you see the need to say, I need to change, I need to start shifting myself from this problem and now start the recovery process of this? What triggered you to do that?
The need to grow. Plus, there was an experience. Okay, I am a devout Christian, and this is where I think it helped. I remember once when I started like to seriously go to church, I went and told God. I knelt down and I told God, I really want to stop this thing. You see the future I have, and I know my future is bright. And I trust you, and I know utaniangusha. So I told God. I went on my knees, went to church, talked with a few pastors, and they told me one thing. Okay, you want help? Just ask God. God ni nani? Si God akatenda. Now, whenever you ask God for help, just be prepared. He's gonna help you. You might not like how he's gonna help you, but he did help me.
Sounds great.
So, how he helped me, I remember, this was the worst experience, but it changed me because it low-key traumatized me. I will not say the specific year, but I remember it was the span of September, October, and November. September, I went and bought some at around, it was early in the morning. I went and bought some of the products. Now, as I was walking home, the police officers came in, caught me. I'm telling you, the experience was like my heart just sank. Because if you've ever been caught by Kenyan police, I'm telling you, the fear, it wasn't good. So I was caught. But I think as I continue the story, you're going to understand. God was like giving me like three chances, like yatatu. Okay, let me just start the first one. So when I was caught, I'm a Luo, by birth. So they were also Luo, but Mr. Kijalo yangu, my Luo is nile ya Bontao. So I was using it up and down here, Papale, and I managed to talk to them and they let me go. Literally, the next month I was arrested again. But this time I was with my friend and he had hid them underneath in the socks. So when the police officers came and caught us, some way using his ingenuity, he managed to drop them on the road without them knowing.
Very lucky.
That was number 2 now. God telling me, okay, nimekupea mara ya pili. Haya. Now, ya tatu. Number 3, he wasn't lenient. He told me, you wanted my help?
Yes.
And I said, yeah. He came through. Now, the third one was not the pleasant one because I went for it early in the morning. I remember it was at around 7, 8. Now, when I was walking back to my house, a police officer came and caught me. 3 times in 3 months. Yeah. I was arrested 3 times in 3 months. If someone told me that's not a miracle, no, I'll never be convinced. Okay. So, He caught me, and I was taken to the police station. They began to grill me, asking me, how much can you remove? How much can you remove? That time, I only had 5,000 in my account, but they told me they want way more money. They wanted 50,000. Because when they look at me, most people look at me and believe like I'm
You're loaded.
I'm loaded. I'm the grandson of Bill Gates. but that time I only had the 5K. So they continued grilling me. But me in my brain, I knew I have a family member who's a police officer. Since I just call him, talks, and then I get out. Boy, when I called the guy, he had already retired. Yeah. So I had to call my parents to come and bail me out. And that's where I told myself enough is enough, because the look she gave me, the look she gave me was a look of like, I'm disappointed, you know? Like I see a version of you that needs to be better, and I know drugs is not part of it. So from me, that's when I said no to it, and ever since I've been clean.
That's good. Now, would you mind telling which kind of drugs are you taking?
Mostly marijuana.
Marijuana?
Because for me, alcohol was not really an issue.
Yeah.
It was never an issue. The others, I wasn't even bothered by them. What message would I give to somebody struggling with drugs right now? Well, you're not alone. You're not alone in any way. You're not alone in any way. Like, I know sometimes it feels as if you don't have people you can talk to or people you can reach out to, because most people look at the issue and say, I can do it on my own, or I can quit whenever I want. But it just takes a moment where you just say, I need help. And when you go out to look for help from people who've passed through the experience, it kind of slaps differently. Yeah.
That's great. I think everybody has learned something, one or two, from this experience of Jeffrey. It's an experience nobody would want to face, because especially when you are caught, is a problem. Remember that bailing out from that kind of issue is a problem as well. So my urge to each and every person, whether young, old, drug is not something we can be able to encourage people to venture into, because definitely it's going to mess up your life and also mess up everything about you, your future also. So it's a warning to each and every person. Let us emulate and stay away from this kind of drugs which are affecting our nervous system and also giving us a different kind of lifestyle which doesn't take us anywhere. Thank you so much. At least next time. My name is Tobias.
Like, subscribe to Kinda Future International.